Jen Shank here with my July 2026 free local and fun monthly newsletter. It is crazy hair day because we have crazy humid weather and that's just what happens. So it is a holiday weekend, so I'm publishing a day early. Also, I'm looking forward to a few days off. I actually have 17 stories for you this week, which may be why I'm like, holy cow, this is a lot, this issue. So I want to start out with a few things. Thank you to all the people who responded to my zinnias request last month. A few people, specifically my friend Jean, brought over some little, I was going to call them saplings, seedlings of zinnias that I'm looking for. And my friend Tammy, who now works at a local garden center, brought home a tray for me as well. So I did a little custom ordering with her. So I have 17 stories for you. It is a mix of brand new stories, recapping of older stories, but there's 17 of them. So little vulnerability here is that sometimes you're really good at doing things for other people, but then not necessarily for yourself. Well, as you can see in the background here, usually I say I'm over here in this corner because this is the messy side, but also this is the messy side. So because there's like a microscope there and a pile of papers that don't even need to be sorted, they're just papers, they're just decorative papers, but I don't need something that's over 1.5 feet high of that. So I wrote a story. How did I meet her? Okay, I had a listing appointment and I was talking with the lady and she's like, oh, Darla helped us. And I was like, who is this Darla? So I reached out to a woman named Darla who I didn't know. And I said, I heard you help people get away from the stress of their daily life when it involves clutter in the home. And she was like, yep, that's me. So I had Darla come over because I had a few areas in my house that really needed attention. And the photo that I'm including in this month's newsletter is my utility pantry, which is a mix of like crock pots, grocery bags, glasses we use occasionally, the thing that cuts the potatoes for the French fries that we never use. Don't tell my mother, she bought it. And just an assortment of things. So that was the first thing that we decided to attack when I hired Darla as an organizer for just a one-day thing, and we organized together. She said her process is always the same, regardless if she's helping you organize your basement or your garage or your home office or your kitchen utility pantry, which is what she was doing with me. So I think we probably spent about 5 hours on the pantry, but I was wicked excited. Jay was gone for a week, and so I wasn't going to get in trouble if he came home and everything was on the dining room table. But I wrote a story about it. I also, there's only one of her to go around, but I also reached out to see who other people recommended as professional organizers, which sounds really fancy, but it was I don't want to say the best money I've spent in a long time, but it wasn't even that much. And I just am smiling when I walk by my pantry now. So I have some before and afters. I really didn't get rid of a lot. She didn't make me get rid of anything I didn't want to get rid of. It's just everything has a place now. And it's just now radiating through the rest of my house as far as me wanting to do other things. So I think by next month, I will have had her back to do my workshop. I'll have a story on that. So it's called, it came down to I actually needed hire an organizer. I did a local business profile. Actually, I thought about the new concept of a monthly local business profile because I had heard of this elevated physical therapy and fitness, and I wondered, what is that? And then I was at a listing appointment. A lot of these stories start with, and then I was at a listing appointment. And an older couple, sorry guys if that's what I'm calling you, said, oh, we have to go. We have our appointment with Tinos. And I thought, well, who's Tinos? Is he a marriage counselor? Is he going to change the oil in your car? I don't know. Turns out he is the personal trainer for this couple who are in their 70s, and they go to see him for training on a regular basis. And I thought, I'm 56 years old and I don't love my arms and I never have, but if I don't start now, when will I ever do it? So I now go to Elevated and I meet with Shay, and she gives me homework, and I do exercises at home and I do exercises when I'm there, and there's nobody there to make me feel self-conscious or ooh, there's some muscle guy being all muscly. It's pretty low-key, very comfortable. And it's just kind of put me in a good spot as far as nutrition and accountability, and I like it. So kind of a little house organization and personal, like actual me organization. So I did a Q&A with David Frazier, who is the physical therapist doctor who owns Elevated. It's in the former Emerald City indoor gardening shop, which used to be a video shop, which I'm sure was other things, but right at 51 Main Street in Westminster. I've given you all the places you can check them out online, find out more, have a no charge, no obligation consultation with David. I didn't feel any pressure whatsoever. And now I'm just more attentive to what I eat. It's not a diet. I don't have to go to the gym every day or twice or 3 times a week. It's just really neat. And so I did a Q&A, why he started the business, what's it like, how's it different, how do you pay, is insurance covering it, all the things. So there's a local business profile of Elevated. Then I was thinking, actually I have a couple props here. When I was a little kid, we didn't have these. These are called road trip bingo. But we had little very basic cards, and it was called auto bingo. And there were things like helicopter, stop sign, corn, these things. And these were just to keep kids busy while the parents were trying to drive somewhere. So I've listed kind of our family's go-to road trip games when the kids were little. Some we invented, some that are repeats. You might know, you're definitely going to know the license plate game, and road trip bingo is pretty easily to understand. I do have about 10 or 12 of these cards, so if you have little kids or you're just a really fun adult and you're going on a road trip, just hit one of my contact buttons or contact form, whatever, and just let me know. I can leave them outside of my office in the bin for you, or I can put them in the mail to you, but they're just silly and fun. I bought a lot of them one summer and gave them away to all the little kids at my open houses, which I'll do starting next weekend now that I've found them because I just organized my pantry. So you'll probably know the license plate game. You might know Ghost. It's not likely you know Bury the Cow. That was a family game of mine. And I definitely know you do not know the dead deer game. My daughter invented that, and when she was very little. So that's, I guess, what happens when you're the youngest of 6. You've got to get creative, and your parents don't care. So anyway, road trip games of our childhood. Last time I did a games story, a lot of people really liked it, so I figured it's road trip season. I am unofficially, very informally, and just took it upon myself to help the organizers of the upcoming Oakmont class reunion, all classes, to publicize what they're doing. So it's really cool. It's at the Wildwood Farm in Westminster. All classes from, I think it was 1960 to present are welcome. Staff, faculty, administration. The tickets are $25 each, and there's live entertainment by New Release, which is Carla Rochlow and the band she's involved in, and Mr. Strickland, which is Chris Lukander and a few other people, the Cowettes from Oakmont. And so they're playing. It's toward the end of July. They need people to buy tickets early so they can count for head count. There's food trucks. There's a stocked bar. You can buy drinks from Wildwood Farm. They'll be set up there. There's an ice cream food truck and a pizza food truck and some other food trucks. So it'll be really fun, and it's a great way, like if a bunch of you have wished you'd get together from high school and you just haven't, or you're like, hey, I wonder if that guy I had a crush on who was 3 years ahead of me is still cute, or if he's not. It's always fascinating to me to see how people worked out. But anyway, it's for Oakmont. All the classes, I've got some links on there. If you have any questions, there's a contact info for one of the organizers, but it's the Oakmont class reunion. It's at the end of July. In about 2009, I was involved in creating, it's one of kind of my big accomplishments, I think. My nose is wicked itchy. I hope I don't have allergies. Mike Sapantis, who was the superintendent at the time, and Ron Hurd was sort of like a local business icon. Just a great person. 2 older gentlemen invited myself from Westminster and Chris Wells from Ashburnham to get together to create something that would be just academically excellent. So we formed, the only regret I have for the whole thing is the length of the name, but what else could we do? So we are the Ashburnham Westminster Foundation for Academic Excellence. Once you're past the long name, we just call it the foundation. Our acronym is AWFAE. We are a board now of, I believe, 14 board members. We've been in business, we're a nonprofit, since about 2009. And we've given over $270,000 to the Ashburnham Westminster schools. And this isn't like a paper budget refill or anything like that. This is for teachers and staff to promote, to present to us their great ideas for academic excellence that raise the bar, stimulate curiosity, improve outcomes. Everything that it's not the Good Idea Foundation. There's plenty of good ideas. This is like, how are we going to raise the bar? For instance, we've funded a lot of tech ed stuff at Oakmont. Now we fund tech ed stuff at Overlook. And now we're down into the young grades. We did this cardboard cutting project, which sounds basic, but I love that it's going to stimulate the curiosity of very little children. And they can, follow that path if they want, right up through graduation from Oakmont. So the big news of this story is that we just got together and in our round of grant funding for this year, gave $55,000 to teachers and staff in Ashburnham Westminster schools that they never would have seen that money for great ideas. So we've got pictures of each of the grant recipients, a tiny bit of detail about their grants, how much we granted them. And if you're a teacher and you've gotten a grant from us, I would love a testimonial. If you are one of the teachers who are highlighted in this story, I'd love a link to more information that I can add to the story so people can dig in and find out more. We usually give less than $55,000 a year because we have an endowment fund. We have the 100 for 100 is what we informally call what's now the J. Michael Sunderland 100 for 100, which is where 100 families commit to $100 per year on a 5-year program, so that we're building an endowment fund so that when Chris and I and all the other people are long gone, this foundation will still continue to run. We're just very passionate about it. But we got an unsolicited donation from an Oakmont alumni for $25,000 this year. And we learned about it, the grants committee learned about it after we were going to go to the full board and say, these grants are so good. We want to grant like double this year. And we have the money for it. We just want to be fiscally responsible and not give out too much one year and then, can't afford groceries the next year. So we got a $25,000 donation, which is so validating. And we gave away $55,000. So I would love it if you'd follow that, make a donation, participate in our event. We do an annual event in November. It's the Friday before Thanksgiving. It's called the Night for Excellence. Last year we did it at the ski area. This year we're going to the Colonial. It's just a really fun adult night out, dinner, dancing, great local music, tons of auction prizes. And that's our big fundraiser of the year, unless you want to write a check for $25,000 and just mail it to us. But if you want to click the donate button on our website, we'll take $1. We'll take $25,000. We just, we believe in what we do. We love to see the outcomes of it. In fact, one of my favorite outcomes of it, I have so many favorites. Alex Tebow and Peter Jones were these little students when they were just like little freshmen in high school when we started the foundation, and we started granting tech ed to Lantry and Cicino, and now both Alex and Peter are tech ed teachers at Oakmont in that department. So I love that. That's one of my favorites. So sorry to go on so long about that, but it's just definitely something I'm very, very proud of, and I love my community involvement, but that's like legit. We'll hit $300,000 next year. That's like real money. Client events. I did a client event in the fall, was a family Christmas photos, and it was amazingly successful. Everyone loved it. Now I'm going to do one for mini golf. So if you've ever sent me a client, or if you've ever bought a house or sold a house or worked with Emily, or, if we've ever connected related to my business, or you've helped my business in any way, there's a story I wrote just in gratitude, and that I am hosting a mini golf afternoon because I got the idea from my orthodontist last summer, and I was like, I am totally doing this. So it's in August, and RSVPs are due by the end of July. Up to 4 people in your group. If you need to have more than that because you have more children, or you're gonna bring your grandma along, just message me, use the Google form, and I will do the best I can. But everyone who is a past client, future client, referral source, maybe my kids, gets up to 4 people on me, and I am supplying ice cream novelties afterwards as well. So that's at Mulligan's Mini Golf in Sterling in August, with a deadline of sign up at the end of July. More picnics, yes, please. I love picnics. And I have a wonderful Longaberger picnic basket. And one of the few things Jay and I argue about is the fact that he likes to carry it by the handles. And one of these days it's going to snap, and I'm going to give him a big fat "I told you so." But on a good note, it's really good for picnics. And I just put together a list of places that I've been for picnics, that I know other people have gone for picnics. If I had time, I would republish my parfait recipe. I might do it anyway. But just like, places to have picnics. And out of order, Neighbors Helping Neighbors is another one of my favorite charities. I am not on the board of it, but I love to support them. They're Sunday, August 9th, and there's some links there. If you have a local business and you can sponsor them with a prize donation, whether it's for their regular auction or their over-the-top auction. Over the top is over $100 value. I always do, because it's really lame, but people love it, lottery tickets. So I always do a $50 lottery ticket house for the regular auction, and a $100 lottery ticket house for the over-the-top auction. But regardless of whether Neighbors Helping Neighbors needs you, it's a wonderful group of people. They're going on their 4th decade. That's like more than twice as long as my foundation. And it's just a wonderful organization. It's called the Westminster Benefit Fund. I see people name both of these organizations, the Ashburnham Westminster Foundation for Academic Excellence and the Westminster Benefit Fund, which is Neighbors Helping Neighbors. I see people name them in their obituaries. I see people making donations. I actually just had a client make a large donation in my honor to the Education Foundation. I did not see that coming, and it just totally warmed my heart. But Neighbors Helping Neighbors is Sunday, August 9th, and you should go regardless of weather. I can't predict the weather a month from now, but I know it makes me mad when oh, it's cloudy out, maybe we won't go. They still need your money. The real estate market. Oh, shoot. I forgot to bring this out. So we're going to go back to the decluttering. As part of my home organizer hiring, what I loved about it is I didn't have to buy anything. I was giving things away. I kept finding more bins that we could use for different projects. I will say I did buy one thing, the Battery Daddy, because I had a client who has this. And I was like, I have an embarrassing bucket of batteries, and I'm constantly digging for the one that goes in the dog collar. So I was pretty excited to buy the #1 rated battery storage suitcase on Amazon. Real estate market. Real estate market is all over the place right now. Not a bad thing, not a good thing. It's just inconsistent, and I'm happy to help people navigate through it. I have a new listing at 2 Seaver Street in Westminster. It is such a sweet house. It's on town water and sewer. It's got natural gas for heat. It's got a beautiful, you'll see it in the photo of the story, a beautiful 3-story barn that they just did the exterior of. It's got a new roof, new windows. All the horizontal, vertical clapboard have been replaced. It's just such a nice barn. And I have a client elsewhere in Westminster who's converting a attached barn into an accessory dwelling unit. So I'm excited to see that finish. I'll see if I can get him to let me write a story about that. But 2 Seaver Street, I am kind of off this weekend, but if you wanted to see that house, the sellers are away for a minute. I'm not telling you they're away for the weekend. And I'm happy to show it. I'm not having any open houses this weekend. I'll have open houses next weekend. It is a charming, in-town, classy home that is just, I love to play my soft jazz music when I'm there, to be honest. And I see what I would absolutely do and expand the kitchen into the dining room just with a furniture island. I think it would just be amazing. So this is 2 Seaver Street in Westminster. I didn't have the opportunity to really do too much marketing because there was so much action on this log cabin I had in Princeton at 49 Beeman Road. I wasn't sure, how many people are looking for $1 million log cabin? Well, it turns out you all wanted it. So it went under agreement right away. In a rare set of circumstances that worked for everyone, I ended up canceling the open houses because there was so much interest and the sellers decided to accept an offer. So stay tuned on that. One thing that really took up a lot of my time in the past month, and it was so heartwarming. I always try to pick up my phone. My husband is retired. His phone will be ringing. I'll be like, your phone's ringing. Are you going to answer that? No, I don't know who that is. That is the opposite of how my phone works. It's just like, somebody calls me, I don't recognize the number, I have to pick it up, the end. So sometimes that rewards me. Other times it's your Google business listing needs keywords to be updated or some kind of scam. But sometimes it's real people. And I took a call from somebody who needed to help empty and sell a parent's home in Westminster. And the sellers were not local. And the sellers had already gone through and taken what they could. You can't just absorb an entire house of stuff into your own house. There has to be some kind of hierarchical, like we're going to keep that sentimental stuff or the heirloom stuff. You cannot keep everything. So of course, I'm like, I can help you with that. So I got permission and buy-in for a really cool thing, which was to, after the family had taken what they wanted, after the sentimental things were out, to go through by phone and by video with the seller to say, okay, this cousin wants this person wants that. Okay, that can go. All right, I'm like, all right, that can go, or that can stay for staging. Or maybe the cousin wants this, but I need it for staging. It was a very color-coded, very spreadsheet-oriented. I loved it. And what my main contact in the family let me do was, I don't want to say whatever I wanted, but what I wanted to do was reach out to, I had so many buyers last month who were buying, first-time buyers moving out of their parents' house, moving out of their apartment, buying 3-bedroom houses, 2-bedroom houses, and they needed furniture. So I had people come through, I invited them through, through their agents. They weren't my buyer clients. I had somebody come through who knew somebody who works at an adult day center. I knew somebody who had, just had a baby and needed a bureau. I had just so many really cool things. And then part of the way through it, I found this. And I realized who was the man who lived there, was one of my favorite teachers in high school. You may recognize him if you went to Monty Tech. I had realized before I found this picture that it was his house. Let's see if there's a date on the back of that. No. But it's old and in perfect condition. I'm going to keep it forever, to be honest, which is why I need an organizer. But I knew it was his house at some point, but the house was not in his name, so I didn't necessarily recognize it. It was perhaps the most feel-good transaction I remember in any kind of recent history. It just was really, really nice. And I feel like I really respected the family, my teacher, and he was involved in a local civic organization, and I reached out to them. Somebody came over, took the memorabilia related to that. And then I since found a photo album that I'm going to try to not drive around with in my car forever. That is from that organization, and some really old like Christmas photos and stuff like that. So that's really cool. Chicken salad. I actually make the best chicken salad, and I was kind of making a face earlier because I don't know why that wasn't with the picnic story, but it's my actual recipe for my fantastic chicken salad. I don't brag about it a lot, but my chicken salad is spot on. You must use the food processor or it's not the same recipe. Let's see. Upcoming listings. What do I have? Well, I know I have, if you know somebody with a healthy budget for a new construction, I have a very beautiful parcel in Westminster available for a new construction. It is a beautiful lot, and it needs a special home. So if you know somebody looking, that might be good to connect them with me. I have a small house in Gardner that'll be somewhere around $300,000. I have a house in Westminster that two of them it'll be right around just under and just over $700,000. Different houses, different. One has a 3-car garage. What else do I have? I'm like, that's silly because I know. I have a house in Princeton that's would be great for first-time buyers. We're just waiting for those sellers to find a house. I have another house in Princeton that has 4 bedrooms, just waiting for those sellers to find a house. I have somebody who's buying. I have a lot of people who are doing the multi-generational thing, and I have someone who's buying a multi-generational home right now, and their house in Gardner will soon to be on. My resource stories, and I'm going to end this video pretty soon because I haven't screwed up majorly yet. My phone hasn't rung, a dog hasn't barked, the yoga ball I'm sitting on hasn't popped, but anything could change at any minute. My resource stories, these are stories that I update every year. Keep them updated. They are summer reading programs throughout Central Mass. They are finding playgrounds in Central Mass, free outdoor concerts. There's one tonight I want to go to in Worcester. Free outdoor concerts in Central Mass, where to go to the beach in the ocean, where to go to lake beaches, and what's going on the 4th of July. So all of that adds up to a whole bunch of information, 17 different stories. I love your story ideas. I love your feedback to my stories. And I love that nobody seems to care that I just write what I feel like about, and that people always send me really cool feedback and gratitude. And people reach out to me and I say, well, how did you hear about me? And they say, I don't know. And a lot of people say, well, I found you online from your Google reviews. Thank you so much to everyone who has written a Google review this month. I bet I've gotten 6 this month. Some from people who have bought houses from me, some who love my newsletter. And I just feel like it's a really nice circle of community that's legitimate. And I've lived here my entire life, Templeton, Westminster, Princeton, and I just love to make this area my home. I love to work in this area. So if you have to have a confidential conversation with me about something, about real estate, nobody's going to know I'm at your house. Nobody's going to know we're talking. Nobody's going to know you need to sell for one reason or the other. It's just very, very confidential. And all your secrets are safe with me. So if I can help in any way, super easy to find. My phone number is 978-870-9260. And you can use the contact form at the bottom of many stories on my website. You could call or text me. You can email me. You can find me on Facebook. You can respond to one of my posts. I've said it too often. I'm very easy to find, and I look forward to continuing to help everyone in Central Mass. So sign up for my golf event. Find out about my education foundation, get yourself organized, have a good 4th of July weekend, and maybe you'll make chicken salad. And I think that's it. So have a great weekend and a great start to the summer.